Top 10 Unsolved Murder Mysteries. Death is the end of the function of any living. It can be caused by a disease, poisoning, malnutrition, intoxication, accident, trauma, or murder. As to these, did you know that murder ranks fourth in the cause of death around the globe? Each year, many people die from conflict, terrorism, homicide, rape, and other forms of violence. Murder isn't new to mankind. This unlawful practice has been done even in ancient times. Unfortunately, it is the confined option of greed and jealousy to feed to acquire any possession. An example of this is the terrorist group. Throughout their life, they have been dispersing the responsibility of killing to obtain the things of their liking. According to studies, witnessing violence contributes to the awakening of real-life threats. Exposure to violence means people are being trained to do the same while learning to diminish their emotional response. That is why it is easy for some people to take the life of another and show no remorse. Speaking of no remorse, did you know that there are people who are being killed but the authorities couldn't find any lead? Creepy as to think that the killer is just somewhere and waiting for another victim. If you are curious to know these cases, please stay tuned and don't switch channels. You may also want to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell for fresh video uploads weekly. Ready your magnifying glass and gloves? Because today, we screened out different cases around the world to give you the list of top 10 unsolved murder mysteries. Number 1. The Dardeen Family Massacre. In a small town of Ina in Illinois, Texas, gruesome murder took place on the 18th day of November 1987. A family of 3, the Dardeen family was found brutally killed in their own house. At first, the police suspect was the head of the family, Russell Keith Dardeen, because he was not in the crime scene. However, his name was cleared when they found his dead body the next day. This could have been the most violent murder that you will hear today because, according to reports, Elaine and his son were beaten to death using the baseball that Keith gave to Peter, his son. While Elaine and Peter are tucked in the bed using duct tape, the killer repeatedly smashed them until they lost their lives. What's more heartbreaking is, Elaine was pregnant during that time and was forced to deliver the baby because of the trauma she had left. However, the killer was too heartless to beat the newborn baby too. If you thought Keith survived, the answer is no. He was also brutally killed nearby with a shotgun. The killer blew his head 3 times and removed his genitals. Although it wasn't clear who was killed first, what's clear is Dardeen family were treated like animals and deserving of justice. The residents and other families of the victims were saddened about their bitter fate. But what's more saddening is the fact that despite the effort of the volunteers and authorities, the murder remains unsolved. Number 2. The brutal Austin yogurt shop murders. Who would have thought that going to a yogurt shop could be dangerous? This story of the 4 women will make you believe that crime can happen anytime and anywhere. On the 6th day of December 1991, firefighters are alarmed that the concerned citizens about the smoke coming out from the yogurt shop in West Anderson Lane. However, it took a chilling turn when they discovered the stacked dead body of the 4 women inside the burning shop. They were identified as Amy Ayers, Eliza Thomas, Jennifer Harbinson, and Sarah Harbinson. Did they die from yogurt poisoning? Big no. According to the forensic investigation, one of the girls was raped and all of them died from a headshot using a caliber .22 handgun. What's more unhuman about the murder of these women is that they treated them like lifeless logs. They stacked them atop each other and they purposely lit the whole shop on fire to terminate the evidence. The public was angered with what the teenagers have suffered from the assailants, so they pressured the authorities to catch the culprit. The authorities did catch suspects. However, the evidence was premature and the statement of the suspect was almost likely directed. The false confessions and misinformation made the investigation more difficult. Some people were mistakenly served punishment but proven guilty, while some are still being investigated. Until now, the case of these 4 women remains a mystery, for no one can tell what really happened that night. Number 3. the Black Dahlia murder. On the 15th day of January 1947, the neighborhoods of Los Angeles were stunned after seeing the dismembered body of Elizabeth Short in a vacant lot. The first person to discover her dead body was Betty Bersinger, who happened to visit the vacant lot at 10 a.m. At first, she thought that it was just a mannequin, but with a closer look, she realized that it was real. The killer sliced Elizabeth's face just like Joker's and bisected the waist part. It almost likely that she suffered from great pain because her blood was drained. They found a lot of slashes all over her body and a broken nose. Elizabeth was a very attractive woman and young. With her death, many speculations rose, and one of these was she works as a prostitute. But this was cleared when the LA attorney confirmed that she was not involved in that line of work. Although the authorities made an extensive investigation, Elizabeth's case remains unsolved because there is no available evidence that will point out the culprit. Number 4. The murder of the Walker family. Most of the time, what hinders an investigation is a load of useless information and unreliable leads. Just like the case of the Walker family, who was brutally killed on the 19th day of December 1959. Based on the report, what took the family's life is the repeated shot in their body. The Walker family consists of 4 members, Christine and Cliff as the parents, and Debbie and Jimmy as their children. The sad part about their death is that the family had to see how the killers violated Christine before they were all killed. Although the police had a lead about the killers, it has proven weak because of the evidence. To their theory, the serial killers Hickok and Smith pretended to sell their car to the family that day and killed the family, but the case was closed when they presented their alibis. Unfortunately, the murder case of the Walker family remains unsolved. Number 5. The murder of the Grimes sisters. Night outs are best when you are with a person dear to you, like your siblings. Just like Barbara and Patricia Grimes, who decided to watch the concert of Elvis Presley on the 17th day of December 1956. Unfortunately, they never made it back after the concert because their naked bodies were found in the German Church Road on the 22nd day of January 1957. To think they went missing for so many days, their family and authorities swept the streets in search of the 2 girls. At first, they were suggesting that the teenagers went far from home to meet their idol, Elvis Presley. But no leads were found, not until the bypasser Leonard Prescott found the naked dead bodies of the 2 in Willow Springs, Illinois. It was suspected that the 2 were kidnapped after watching the concert because the autopsy report shows that their last meal was at the concert. Unfortunately, the mother of 2 died without getting the justice that she was fighting for her daughters. Until now, the case remains unsolved. Number 6. Villisca Axe Murders. Did you know that the killers also get inspired by movies? This is what happened to the Moore family and their guests on the 9th of June 1912. Just like in the movie, the killer used an axe to murder the Moore family together with their house guest. The authorities were puzzled with their death because the family is influential and well-loved by their community. Was it greed or was it jealousy that triggered the killer to smash the heads of the 6 children and 2 adults with an axe? Investigations were made after the crime. However, authorities couldn't find any lead. What's more mysterious is that the axe was used belongs to the family and was found in the guest room after the gruesome murder. Despite this and the accusations made to point out the suspects, until now, the case remains cold and unsolved. Number 7. The killing of Georgette Bauerdorf. Georgette was one of the most admired maidens in their town because of her beauty and charm. She was supposed to have the life of her dream if she wasn't killed on the night of October 11, 1944. Coming from a wealthy family, Georgette has everything that she wants. She was in love with acting, so at the age of 20, she found her way to her job in the Los Angeles Times. There were no dull nights in her life since then because she hosts different parties for celebrities and she had plenty of suitors. But one night, after her shift, she lost her life in her apartment. Then 11 a.m. of October 12, her maid and janitor found her lifeless body in the bathroom. With the bruises that she acquired, it shows that Georgette had a strenuous fight with her killer before she lost her life. During the investigation, the police found that before she got inside her apartment, the killer was already there waiting for her. But the killer was able to escape without a trace by using Georgette's car as a getaway. Unfortunately, her death remains unsolved until now. Number 8. The Massacre of Evangelist Family. On the 3rd day of July 1929, the Evangelist family met a tragic event. Known for being a mystic healer and performer of black magic, Benny Evangelist became famous in their state. But who would have thought that this could also be the reason for his death and his family? Forensic investigation suggests that the attacker's target was Benny alone, but because he was with his family that night, they were all brutally killed in their home. What's more intriguing is that nobody can tell who killed the family because there was no evidence on the crime scene. Authorities looked for fingerprints, weapons, and notes, but they failed to recover any. With these reasons, the authorities couldn't get any lead to what really happened that night and who are the possible suspects in the crime. Number 9. The Brutal Massacre of Margaret Martin. They say, opportunity knocks only once. But what if that opportunity could knock you off? This is what happened to the 19-year-old Margaret Martin, who was excited on her first day off the job as a secretary in a small firm. Unfortunately, instead of a promotion or opportunity, Margaret was found dead in a creek near the sawmill. According to the investigation, Margaret was brutally tortured before she was killed in the sawmill. The killer planned to cut Margaret's body in several pieces to destroy the evidence of her death, but he was taken aback when the owner of the sawmill warned from afar. Unfortunately, the owner couldn't distinguish the killer because he thought that he was just a trespasser. So as a result, until now, Margaret's killer is not convicted and free of charge. Number 10. The Mysterious Death of the Town Bully. Your reaction may be odd if we tell you the mysterious death of the town bully. Known for harassing and violating women for many years, McElroy was gunned down in his truck. Although there are many people on the scene, no one could point out who the killer was. What's more unbelievable is that McElroy died because nobody called an ambulance for him. Plus, nobody stands to be a witness in the crime. They believe that this must be because of his bad reputation in his neighborhood. It is a fact that McElroy was convicted of different charges against him, like stealing, child molestation, rape, and assault. Until now, his case still floats in the reality of receiving justice. We hope that you enjoyed our video for today. Watching this video may have triggered your idea of who the culprit is. Since there are not enough witnesses and no CCTVs around the crime scene, it's hard to tell who should be proven guilty. But there is one thing that we can learn from these cases, which is to stay vigilant. These incidents taught us that not all people can be trusted. Like what they say, some are friends and some are foes. So be careful who you trust and who you be with. Do you have any guess or intuition about any of these murder cases? Please share it with us in our comment section below. Remember, sharing is caring. Who knows, you might help in completing the puzzle of these murder mysteries. Thank you for watching. We hope that you can join us again next time for a more informative and interesting video. Keep safe.